In today's video, we're going to be trying something completely new. During the winter when daylight is limited, I can only do so much trail building, plus I'm looking to branch out on my content for YouTube. This video will go over all of the necessary things you need to know when choosing grips. There's so many different options, and hopefully you can figure out which one is the best for you by the end of the video. All of the grips in this video were lent to me by Ride Bicycles Bike Shop, so a huge thanks to them for letting me test out a wide variety of grips. All of these are available at the shop, so use the link in the description to check out everything we have. The reviews for this video will be broken down into 5 different categories for each set of grips, which is durability, feel, control, firmness, and price point. Let's get started with the Loam Grips from PNW Components. Alright, so the first grip we're going to review today is the Loam Grip from PNW Components. Now, PNW is a locally based brand. They make an awesome grip. This was actually their first one, and it was a major success with mountain bikers. For the durability, though, I'm not actually a huge fan. I rode the purple ones right here on my Norco range for a few months over the summer, and I wasn't a huge fan of how fast they wore out. Now, after about 3 to 4 months of riding in the summertime, they were down to just the rubber, and these ridges that you're seeing in here, they weren't really on the grip anymore. Now, to be fair, I was riding these grips pretty much every day. So I was riding pretty hard. I was riding nice long days too. For the comfort and the feel, I really do like how these feel. They give you nice control. I really like how they're not too thick. They're also not too thin. So they're the perfect diameter for my hands. I really like that. That's why I bought them. They channel sweat really well too. So if you're going on a nice long ride, let's say 5+ hours, your hands get nice and sweaty from a long climb or a long descent. These grips manage sweat really well, so you're not going to have slippery grips. They're going to remain nice and tacky. Another reason I love these things, they're $19. That's amazing for a grip. Now, $19 for these things, that's just super impressive because they're so affordable and you're getting a really good grip with that price. Highly recommend the Loam Grips from PNW Components. Alright, right here we got the Chromag format grips from Chromag bikes in 3 different colors. We got green, blue, and orange. For the durability on these specific grips, we've actually put these on one of our shop demo bikes at Ride Bicycles, and we've noticed very little wear so far. The only thing that's super noticeable are the ribs on the inside. Those are getting a little bit worn down because they are pretty thin. As for the feel on these grips, a lot of people do like them, and I have a few friends that rock them. I'm not the biggest fan though. I feel like there might be a little too much going on with the grip. There's a lot of unique patterns to Chromag, but some people do like that. If you get your hand locked into the handholds though, they feel amazing, but that's time locking yourself in that I would rather not spend if I don't have to. For the control on these grips, they are pretty good. You can lock your hands right into these rings, as I just mentioned, get super far back behind your seat, and that's something very beneficial if you're riding steeper terrain or you're riding in the wet, which we do here a lot in the PNW. For the price point on these, they're pretty much average, $30 for a set of lock-on grips. Not going to break the bank, but it's also not the best value. Alright, so the OneUp lock-on grips from OneUp Components. Now, these things are actually my personal grip as of now. They were the only purple grip I could get anywhere. Everything was out of stock, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of them so far. As for durability, they are pretty good. The ridges on the bottom are nice and thick, so they're not going to wear out very fast. On the top though, the ribs are pretty thin, so I can imagine that there could be some wear after only a few months, but nothing major. As for the feel of these grips, I think they're really nice. Personally, I have a few friends that ride these backwards, so they invert the grip so the ridges are on the top. Now, what OneUp has done here is they've actually removed the end of the sleeve so that the grip compresses in. And what this does is it gives you a great amount of palm support. If you're riding longer laps, such as a place like Tiger Mountain or Raging River, this is going to be very beneficial because it prevents hand fatigue and it's just a really nice feeling on the grip. Definitely a smart move by OneUp Components when they did that. As for the firmness of these, they are pretty firm. I would say because of that palm support on the end, they're a little bit softer, so somewhere around medium firmness. And the price point, these grips are pretty much average, $25 for a grip like this. You're getting a really good value, so I'd say about a 6 out of 10 if I were to score it on a scale of 10. All right, so these grips right here are the super sweet Descendant grips from TrueVitive. Now, TrueVitive is one of SRAM's brands, so it's made by a nice, reliable company. Starting with durability, these are pretty good. The ridges go nice and deep, so if you do wear out your grip a little bit, you're gonna have plenty of room to wear it down. They will get thinner. I like how they feel. They're a nice thick grip. The pattern is nice in dry conditions. As for the control though, in the wetter conditions, they're not that great. The pattern is that the ribs kind of all go in the same direction. So I've heard that your hand can slide around easily if you're using these grips. They are a great grip for summertime though. If you're riding a lot in the summer, more dry conditions, a lot of people do like these. As for the price point, they are pretty good, 30 bucks. You're getting what you pay for with most of these grips. And then firmness, finally, forgot to talk about the firmness. They're medium to firm. I like how they feel. I just think they were the type of grips that would kind of wear down as time goes on and get a little softer. So next up, we got possibly my favorite set of lock-on grips in this entire video. They're the Lizard Skins machine grips. They come in 5 colors, all of which are on display right here, and they're really cool. There's not a specific trait of these grips that I don't like. For the durability, we've put these on the large Norco site demo at the shop. That bike goes out pretty much every day, and we've noticed absolutely zero wear on the grips. The rubber's still remaining nice and hard, the waffle pattern's still there, nice and firm, and the ribs haven't gotten worn down at all. So a great job to Lizard Skins for designing a super durable grip. For the feel, I also really like these. They have a waffle pattern on the bottom that lets you get really far behind your seat and just lock your hand on. They're also great in wet conditions, which is another reason that we put them on the demo bike. The ribs are super thick and the waffle pattern sticks out a lot, so you can just really lock your hand into place, and they're good in the wet too. For the price point, they're 30 bucks, so that is average for a lock-on grip, but these grips I think are outstanding and stand way above what most of the other grips are, so I think it's a great price point. Right here, we got the second of 2 products that we're going to talk about today from Lizard Skins. This is the Charger Evo single compound grip. They come in 2 colors, I believe, the blue and the black, which is right there. And we've noticed a few things about these grips over the few months we've done of testing. For the durability on the grips, it's not super great, but that's because these grips aren't meant for your average mountain biker. They're not actually a set of lock-on grips, and they're meant for people that are getting into mountain biking, or if you're just doing some light road riding on a flat bar bike, doing some gravel riding, these grips are a great choice. For the feel on them, I do like the way they feel. They have a specific rubber pattern where you can just place your hand on and go in no time. I do like that because you don't have to spend time getting your hand perfectly positioned on the grip before you go. For the control on these, they don't give you great control because they're not lock-on grips. If you're hitting a big jump or you're plowing through tech really fast and these grips accidentally slide off, you're in for a very bad crash that would be easily preventable with a set of lock-on grips. For the price point on these though, it's amazing. $10 for this set of grip is pretty much the best you're gonna get, but I would only recommend it for someone who's a beginner or a road or gravel rider. So next up, we got the ODI Longnecks from ODI. Now these grips I think are definitely the most hit or miss thing on this entire list. I have a few friends that love these to death. Personally, I'm not really a fan though. I haven't ridden them, so I can't say a lot, except I just think they're not that durable. I don't really like the feel. They're not comfortable to me in general. A lot of people do like them. I'm just not a huge fan. For the durability, as I said, I just can't imagine them lasting that long. They're so soft and the ribs on these are not very deep, so I can imagine you'd wear out your hands a lot. I could be wrong. Let me know if you guys run these and let me know how the durability is in the comments below. I'm not a huge fan of them though right now. For the comfort, they are somewhat comfortable for a grip. I really like how the ribs are soft, so if you're looking for a nice soft grip, these are a great choice. As for the firmness, they're very soft. The ribs on these grips, they don't go very deep, but they're thin and you can move them around a lot. And the price point, 11 bucks for these things, that's not that expensive. I think $11 if you want to just cycle through grips, you're riding lighter trails, or you're just one of the people that really likes these, definitely great because they're 11 bucks. All right, so the next grip we got is Raceface. It's the half Nelson model. They make a few grips, and this is the one that I chose to display right now. So the half Nelson is Raceface's kind of firm grip. They're super durable. I rode these for about a year before I switched to purple on my bike. They offer these in the colors of black, and I believe blue as well, but I don't have a pair of the blue ones to show you. Now for durability, they have 4 ribs, one on each side of the grip, if you were gonna count sides. They have one on each side of the grip, and what that does is it locks your hand into place. You're not gonna be able to slide. They handle sweat really well, just like the PNW Loam Grips, and that's something that I really liked about these grips during my year of riding them. Now also, I really like the feel. The way that Raceface designed these is to have smaller ridges that aren't in any particular form. They form a pattern, and you can really only notice them if your grips aren't positioned correctly. Now I really like how these feel intuitive. They're great grips, plus they're only 24 bucks. That's a great price for what you're getting, so you're not breaking the bank and spending a lot of money on something that's simple like a grip. The second set of grips we got from Raceface are the Lovehandles. Now these come in both blue and black right there, and I'm a huge fan of these. I'd say I'd rank them equally to what I rank the half Nelson. For the durability on these, the Raceface grips tend to last a long time. That's something I do tend to like about Raceface. The ribs on the bottom are very firm, and the ones on the top are a little bit softer, and I like how they kind of work together to create a great grip. For the feel on these, it's also great. What a lot of brands do with their grips is they just have a tubular, circular shape. What these grips do is they curve the top, somewhat like what the ODI Elite Pros do. It makes your hand naturally conform to it, and gripping the grip feels very intuitive. As for the firmness, they are very firm grips, very hard, so if that's something you like, definitely check out these Raceface grips. And the price point on these is still pretty good, 28 bucks, that's below average, and that's a good thing when we're looking at price. All right, in this box right here, we have the Cero grips from All Mountain Style. I believe that's how it's pronounced. These are the black ones right here. I'm not sure if they offer it in any other colors. Let me know in the comments if they do. Now for the durability of these grips, I have another friend that rides these. He loves them. He's been riding them for over a year, and there's very little wear. I'm super impressed. I would say out of all the grips we're reviewing today, these are probably the most durable. For the feel, I also like these. They have that waffle pattern similar to the lizard skin machine grips, and they really lock your hand in place. The grip isn't too thick, isn't too thin, perfect diameter. I really like how these feel. For the control, it's the same thing. That waffle pattern lets you get really far back on the bike without slipping, and the grips do handle sweat pretty well. In wet conditions, I've heard that the ribs do get a little bit slippery, but the waffle pattern makes up for part of that. For the pricing though, these are on the more expensive side for grips. They're 33 bucks, that's what we've seen as the most common price, and that is a little bit expensive for a grip like this. They are great, so if you want a good grip and don't really care about breaking the bank that much, definitely a great option to check out, but otherwise I would stick with the lizard skins because they're a little bit less expensive. These next grips are made by Renthal. This company is very well known for their handlebars. We sell a lot of those. As for the durability on these Renthal grips, it's not that great. They are pretty thin grips, and the ribs aren't that thick either, and since they are pretty soft and tacky, they will wear down pretty fast. As for the feel, it's a hit or miss with these. A lot of people like how sticky they are. If you grab this grip and you let go, you could almost get it to stick to your hand, and you wouldn't even need to hold the bike. That's how sticky they are. For the control though, that tackiness and how sticky they are, it really lets you get back far on the bike, and it lets you control it really well. For the firmness, they're medium to firm. I'm not a huge fan of the way that these grips execute the firmness though. I just think they could be done a little bit better. And the price point, they also are very expensive for what you're getting. They're $34, and that's a little bit on the high side for grips. So next up, we got possibly the most popular grip that I've ever seen before. These right here are the Deity Knuckledusters. Now we have these specific grips in the pink and the mint blue right here. Deity components right now in general are very hard to get. The estimated time of arrival for most of these grips is about 6 months out, which is crazy. The pandemic has hit and supply chains are being affected. For the durability on the Knuckledusters though, I think they're pretty okay. I rode these on my Trek Fuel EX7 for about 8 months before I started noticing significant wear, specifically on the middle portion of the grip towards the top. The ribs were wearing down to the rubber and I had to get new ones. As for the control, I really do like how these give you control. It also ties in with the feel because they have the waffle pattern like the DMR Deathgrip or the lizard skins. They do feel great, and that's something I like about these. They ride well in the wet too because of that waffle pattern, and for the firmness, I'd say they're medium firm. Nothing too soft to where your hand's going to start sliding around in the wet, but they're also not so firm that you're going to begin to get blisters. For the price point on these, they're pretty much average. 28 bucks we sell them for, which isn't a horrible price at all. Alright, next up we got the Deathgrip from DMR Bikes. Now these grips I really like due to the variety. They have 4 different options. You can get the flanged and non-flanged ones, and within those you can get the hard rubber compound, which we have here, or you can get the soft rubber compound. Now a lot of people like the durability on these hard compound ones. The soft ones don't last as long, but these nice hard ones, they last forever. People I know have been riding these without having to replace them for over a year, and they're holding up really well. I also like how both of them feel. If you're looking to ride in the wet, I highly recommend riding with the hard compound right here. It's going to give you a lot more control, and it's just going to feel better in the rain. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we get a lot of that rain, so this might be a great choice if you live up here. The soft compound might feel even better in dry conditions, but in the wet, that grip can get a little slippery and your hand might be sliding around. As for the control, these grips give you great control. Since they were designed by a free rider, they have a waffle pattern just like the Deity Knuckledusters or the lizard skins that let you lock your hand into place, and that's a really nice feature that a lot of people like. These hard ones are pretty firm and the soft ones are soft, just as the saying goes, and for the price point, these aren't that bad, about 30 bucks for these. That's a great price. The soft compound ones I believe might be a little bit more expensive, but it's still a great price for how good of a grip these ones are. Alright, the last grip that we're going to be talking about today is actually another one by Deity. This one's fairly new to their lineup, and it's their soft compound grip, and it's called the Supracush. Now, as for the feel on these, they feel absolutely amazing. Maybe one of the best of all of the grips. They're super soft, and if you're riding in the summer, these are definitely my #1 pick on the entire list. They don't last super long though, so you might have to replace them after only 1 season of riding. They don't give you great control though, which is the only reason I won't be riding these. In the wet, they're so soft that your hand can be slipping around. They might be almost a little too soft for winter riding. For the firmness on these, they're probably the softest grip on the entire list. Deity really did a good job of achieving their goal, making this the softest grip, and I can tell. Your hand really just moves on that grip, and if that's something you're into, definitely check out the Supracush. As for the price point on these, just like the other Deity grips, they're about 28 bucks, and that's nothing horrible, but it's also not the best price. That's going to wrap up this long informational video about mountain bike grips. Now if you enjoyed it, I would love to hear your feedback in the comments below. I'm thinking of adding a few of these product guides into my posting schedule, and I think it should be very beneficial to viewers as well. There were so many grips I couldn't cover, but I tried to narrow it down to the grips I thought were the most popular and ones that needed some recognition. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.